Toni Ann Johnson was the screenwriter for Ruby Bridges, and she joins us now. Toni Ann, what is your reaction to your film now being under review in Florida?
I think it's unfortunate. I think it's too bad that one parent had the ability to stop other children from seeing the film for the rest of the year. And I think it's an overreaction, but it's not surprising because it seems like it's part of the Stop Woke Act and the parents' rights movement, which gives parents, unfortunately, that power.
You've said that when you were 6, that is when you were first called the N-word. What would you say to this parent who argues second graders are too young to learn about racism?
I think that second graders have been seeing the film, and I've been told by teachers that it works for teachers as a teaching school. And if a 6-year-old is old enough to be called the N-word and has to understand what that means, then second graders are old enough to learn what it means and to learn about the history of racism in this country.
And you say that what this issue really comes down to is a parent feeling entitled to impose his or her will on other parents by not wanting teachers to show this film to the kids in their class. Tell us a little bit more about why you see it that way.
Well, I've expanded my views about how I see it because I understand a little bit more about the parents' rights movement, which I think is definitely coming out of the Stop Woke Act, which is limiting what can be taught in the classrooms, limiting race inclusive instruction. So I think it's intentional, it's by design, but one parent should not have the right to, just say, I don't think this is right, and then everybody has to abide by that. My parents weren't able to do that. I think this is a privilege that Black parents don't have. Black parents aren't able to just march into the school and say, I don't like this movie, so nobody can watch this movie for the rest of the year. That's a privilege that we don't have. I had to watch a lot of things that I didn't like. I didn't have that choice.
And I think
I
I
think it's
actually
unfair.
read that there was a book, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, that your parents didn't want you reading. And so as an accommodation, you did read the book and you were moved to another area when that book was being discussed,
I
right?
was My mother was allowed to opt out of that lesson for me, and I didn't read that book, but it would not have occurred to her to say nobody can read the book. But we didn't have the parental rights movement, we didn't have the Stop Woke Act, we didn't have those rights, and there was nobody trying to limit education for other children. So it was a different time, but I do feel like this is a white parent taking away something that other children in the district could benefit from. And it's unfair and it's unnecessary. If one child doesn't want to watch the film, or if one parent doesn't want their kid to watch the film, that's fine. Don't watch it. But why are you imposing that on the entire school?
Do you think that limiting young children's exposure to racism could make racism worse?
Yes, because they don't understand it, and then they're too old. If they don't get that education and they get out of school, then they can say, "Well, I didn't understand that racism existed." Of course, it exists. It exists in their school, and this film helps teachers teach the beginnings of the civil rights movement and where race was at that time and how it affected Black children. And I heard in the opening a parent saying that there was nothing in it aside from the bad white people. That is absolutely not true. Watch the film. All the white people are not bad. The film does highlight Black humanity, which a lot of films don't do. I didn't have any films like that as a child. There were no films that centered a young Black girl. This film has been around for 25 years. It has worked for 25 years, and it can continue to work. This district is just different.
Toni Ann Johnson, thank you.